Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kimberly, in case you're new and don't know my name. If you are new, I hope you want to stick around and join our little family. Go ahead and hit subscribe right now if you do. And if you're not new, I'm so glad you came back. I know sometimes I'm a little iffy about uploading. I am getting better about that, which we will talk about actually probably in a video before this one because it's part of my 2018 resolutions. So, today, we are doing a review and tutorial of this look using the Jaclyn palette. I know it's not like a new palette anymore, it's an older palette, in that it's been out a few months, I think. I don't remember exactly when it launched. If you see this move, sorry, my heat vent is right below it, so it might blow it around. But it's real cold, so I'm not about to turn the heat off. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's not really like a new palette anymore, but it's new to me. I just barely got my hands on it, and you know, the colors are beautiful. I really wanted to play with it, so that's what we're doing today. First thing I did is swatches for you guys. Now, I wanted to get a full-on extensive review of this palette, and this is kind of going to be the format for reviews for the rest of however long I do reviews on YouTube. Before I kind of did like kind of half-hearted swatches and then would do a look or give you guys like close-up of swatches or stuff like that. I'm really trying to get more like close-ups, more in-depth reviews so you guys can really see what it looks like, how the products work, stuff like that. So I did real-time finger swatches so you could see exactly how much product I was picking up with each swipe and how it went onto my hand. You guys can see, I'll insert the clip now and rather than later. The metallic ones are beautiful. They come out so creamy. The matte ones are kind of iffy. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But then I also did swatches that I just showed you guys after I swatched them. I did finger swatches on top, brush swatches on bottom. I got them of the entire palette so you can see exactly what colors are chalky, what colors are patchy, and you can really decide if you want to spend the money for this palette because it is a little bit more than most Morphe palettes are. Let's talk about the packaging though, because oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So it's white and silver, which is different from most Morphe. You know, Morphe normally does like black, although they did repackage recently and their stuff looks a lot nicer and like more high-end is what I want to say. But that all started after the Jaclyn palette came out because she like changed the whole Morphe game. But on the back you got these beautiful pictures of Jaclyn with different looks using her palette, and then you just got like a nice little something about the palette from her and the Morphe team. And then, oh, I've already damaged this. So then once you actually get to the palette, it's just very nice and sleek and sturdy, and it's just like a magnetic open rather than the snap closed ones that Morphe used to do. On the back it's got all the colors and their names, which I forgot they were named while I was doing this tutorial, but once you open it up, it's super beautiful. So you've got the little dedication to her subscribers from Jaclyn, and then you get the beautiful colors. Now, honestly, I wanted the palette based on the colors, and because I love Morphe, and just because it's everything about this palette. But mainly I saw the colors and I was like, I need those. So these two matte nudes on the first row don't really show up on my skin tone, but they swatch pretty well if they were like on a different skin tone. You just can't see them. They're not patchy like some of the other colors, it's just that they blend into my skin tone a little too well. And again, metallic shades look amazing. The shimmery shades, so creamy, literally feel like cream eyeshadow. But some of the matte shades, especially once you get to the darker ones, are very chalky and very patchy and hard to blend. So I did this look. We will go ahead and get into the little tutorial, and then I'll talk about the process of how they went on and how that worked out afterwards. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial part of this. So the first thing we're going to do is take our large all over shadow brush into this light nude shade. I'm going to put this all over my lid. This is going to give us a nice soft base because the blending on some of these shades is not the best. So we want to make sure I have a nice solid base. Now we're going to go in with a condensed blending brush into this nice transition shade. I'm going to put this above the crease. Again, it's a transition shade, so I actually probably should have cleaned my brush between the eyes, but I think it'll be okay. Now taking our nice clean fluffy blending brush, I'm going to just blend the edges of that, make sure it's seamless. Going back in with that condensed brush, we're going to go into a slightly darker shade to deepen up the crease. I'm going to take this lower and right above the crease still. Again with a clean blending brush to blend out those edges. Now I'm going to go into this darker shade and take it into the inner V and the outer V. Just to start getting that halo effect, you can go ahead and bring it down. Make sure you get this shade into the crease as well. Now going into this darker, almost purple shade, I'm going to take this into that same outer edges, but only into the crease to help deepen that up. Again with a clean blending brush. I want to bring some warmth into the crease, so we're going to take our brush into the orange shade and tap that right in the crease. Okay, I'm going to have to go clean up my contact because there's something underneath it. I will be back. I had a brush fiber, a little hair off one of my brushes underneath my contact. That was painful. Where was I? I think I was just blending. Now going in with our regular shader brush, we're going to go into this slightly darker orangey red shade. I don't really know how to describe this shade. It almost looks purple until you swatch it. And I'm going to put this on my inner corner here, the inner V. Now for the center of the halo, we're going to go into this bright orange. We're going to really pack that on. And then once again, I'm going to take a fluffy brush to blend both the edges of that halo and also into the crease. Now as you can see, we have a lot of fallout. And I've been tapping off the excess, so there's no excuse for this other than it's just the shadows. I need a brush to brush that off. Now, I didn't film this part close up, but I'm going to take my small little blending brush and take it into that bright orange and bring it into my lash line. I'm going to take it into that slightly dark brown and kind of mimic the halo effect. And then take it into that metallic-y orange and take it right into the center. You know what? All of these shadows have names. I should have used them instead of saying this random color. I will insert, let me zoom out while I talk to you guys. So, like I was saying, I was kind of just saying this random color, this orangey color, this darker brown color. The Jaclyn Hill palette all has names. So, obviously I wasn't thinking, but I will insert all of these as I'm talking about them. I'll put the right name on the screen so you guys know what I'm talking about. For now, I'm going to quickly throw on some liner and lashes and be back to talk about what I think of this palette. So these first few shades feel very nice and creamy, and then the second two just feel like soft but not as creamy as the metallics. You can't see the second two on my skin very well. The third one, this one right here, is a little patchy, but they're not really chalky. Obviously the metallics are way creamier than the mattes. So here again we've got mattes, so they're not as creamy as the metallics, but they're still pretty soft. This yellow, which is creamsicle, I really thought it would be more pigmented. These were just very, very patchy. So now we're going back to some metallics. Again, super creamy and just a beautiful feeling, and just came out very beautiful overall. I really like that third one. And as you can see, it doesn't look chalky on any of these mattes so far, but some of them are later on. Now to the fun colors. This purple and blue are so gorgeous. That blue, I swear, is the reason why I bought this palette. All metallics, all super creamy, and all super pigmented. Well, the third one's not super pigmented, but it's also a light color, so I don't think it's that it's not pigmented. I think it's just supposed to be very light. Now for the teals and the green, I was super excited for those. As you'll see, it looks okay on my finger, but once I actually swatch it, that teal, not very pigmented, the green that comes after it, not very pigmented, and that dark green, not very pigmented. Also kind of chalky on the dark green. It took, after the second swipe, you know, it was fine. The color came on well, but they don't look like they would blend very well, and that dark one is a little chalky. Now we're gonna go back to the top with these three metallics, super creamy. These are great little pinks, and that second one is actually a duochrome, like just a little bit, but it's kind of hard to tell on my swatches because I didn't get quite the best angle, but it's still super beautiful. These three again are warmer shades. Oh, that gold, every time I see it, it's just beautiful. The orange, which is Hunt's, which we used in this look, not the best. It was a little patchy, took a little bit of work to get it on. The overall color is great once you really get the color on there. Now for these darker colors, again, super beautiful on my finger. And when we go to swatch, you can see super pigmented. Well, the second one's not super pigmented, but none of these are chalky, which is great because, as you saw, some of these mattes are kind of patchy and chalky. So now we're getting to the darker shades again. The metallics, great, and then the mattes. These two actually were good, but as I mentioned, when I used them, they did not blend well. So they swatched great, they're pigmented great, but they don't blend well. Now these three are the ones I have problems with in this palette. They're the only three that are so bad. They're chalky, they're not patchy, and they do not feel like they would blend well at all. they really don't feel like they're the same formula as the rest of the palette in any way. So as you can see, these metallic shades really come out great with the brush or with the finger. I personally think they look better with the finger swatches. Some of the matte shades are worse with a brush. They're a little patchier, definitely look like they'd be hard to blend. So that is how you get this very soft halo eye. This eye looks a little better, I think, just because I struggled with the eyeliner on this eye and also the eyebrow on this eye. And this is just my bad eye. This eye always comes out worse than this eye, except the eyeshadow always looks better on this eye than on this eye. But I think it's just a very fun, warm toned, which is what I do a lot of. Soft halo, very simple halo. You guys know sometimes I get a little too much into my eyeshadow looks and use way too many colors. But this time I tried to keep it a little softer, a little simpler, something easier to do if you have this palette and just wanted to try something soft to start off with. So the all over color I chose might be a little dark for some of you, it depends on your skin tone, but for me it was the perfect nude shade and that's why I used it as a base. After swatching the colors, seeing that some were chalky and some were patchy, I knew we're probably going to have problems blending, and so I wanted to start off with a nice base. I forgot to put primer on, but I used concealer as a primer before I started filming when I did the rest of my face, so I definitely recommend a primer. Make sure you set it properly to get a nice solid base for your eyeshadow. After that, I went in with transition shades. Those worked out really well. They blended so smoothly. They weren't as creamy as I would expect, but they weren't bad. They were good. Once we got to the darker brown shades, which were, what were these? Chip and Mocha, that's where we started having problems blending. So for Mocha, it wasn't that I had trouble blending it out, it was that while I blended it, it just kind of took all of it away from my face. Like it just blended off my eye. With Chip, that was problems with blending. It was, I placed the product, and guys, there was a lot of fallout. I was tapping off my brushes like crazy. I tried to edit that part out because the sound is really annoying on video, so I normally edit that out. You guys don't see that a lot, but believe me, I was tapping off all of the excess powder, and I still, you guys saw that at the end, I still had fallout all on my nose and on my cheek and everywhere. And that was mostly from the darker colors as well as from the two metallic shades. So Chip had problems blending out. I recommend using a very soft touch when placing it and just very lightly buffing it in. So then with the two metallic shades, again, super creamy. Literally, if you touch them, they feel like cream shadows rather than powder. They went on super smooth. The lighter one, which was Firework, took a little bit more work to pack it on. It really does go on better with the finger rather than a brush, which you can say about most metallic shades that are similar to that, because it's almost like a textured shadow. It reminded me of the Huda Beauty Rose Gold textured palette, just with the texture. So it did take a little bit more work to get that on with a brush, but it would have worked great if I wanted to use my finger. Bad fallout from those two as well as the dark shade though, so just warning you, you might want to do your eyes before your face if you're using this palette. That's all the colors I used this time. I cannot wait to play with this again and really get into it and do fun crazy looks and try. It's going to take a lot. I mean, this is 35 colors. I can't use them all in one look. It's going to take quite a few looks. Some of these colors, like the teal down here, super beautiful. I tend to not use colors like that, so we're gonna have to get creative because, oh my gosh, when I swatched it, it was gorgeous. I just don't know how I'm gonna use it, so definitely gonna get into that. Overall, I would say this palette's worth the money if you're going to use all of the shades. it really just depends. If you only go for like the neutrals on your everyday look and you really don't reach for colorful stuff, there are definitely cheaper palettes out there, Morphe, not Morphe, from wherever, but I don't know, the colors are just so beautiful. The metallics are super creamy, so for me it's a super thumbs up. I think Jaclyn did great at picking out the colors and making them reformulate so many times, except for, again, the darker shades. Like most of these down here that are darker, they were very chalky, very patchy. That is a problem that I have not seen any eyeshadow company actually get past. When you get to the dark colors, like blacks and stuff, it's always chalky. Like, I've not tried a single black eyeshadow that wasn't chalky or patchy or hard to blend, and this black and this like dark purple were no different. And again, some of the other ones were a little hard to blend, but they weren't as bad. So in my opinion, this was worth the money. But again, if you're not going to use the colors, it's probably not worth it to you, because a lot of these colors, like most eyeshadow palettes, you can get like the sunset colors or the neutral colors or the bright colors in smaller versions and pay less money if you're only going to use like a quarter of the palette. If you're going to use at least half the palette, go for it. It's worth the money. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this. So tell me what you guys think. Did you think that this review was in-depth enough? Did I give you enough to help you make the decision? Are you going to buy it? Do you already have it? Have you done looks with it? Let me know. Let's have a discussion in the comments down below. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you want me to continue doing these kind of super in-depth reviews, or if you want to go back to more simple reviews where I just show you some swatches and do a look. I don't know. I kind of want to do more and make sure my content is better quality, and I feel like giving you more of my opinion on these types of products is a better review. So let me know, because I don't want to do things that you guys don't want to watch, and I hope to see you in the next video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @SheWhoSpeaks_ instead of spaces. I'm also on Snapchat at Kimberly.Nicole with a K, not a C. Go ahead and click my face to become an adventurer and join our little family. And if you want to watch another one of my videos right now, there will be 2 on the screen for you to choose from. Thanks for watching. Bye.